Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast where we pick a show that none of us have seen, watch the pilot, roll some dice, skip some episodes, and try to figure out what happened last time on. I'm Xhafer.
I am Ben.
And I'm Victor, and you're listening to the only podcast where the hosts introduce themselves in order of IQ descending.
Ben, I think, is the most offended by that.
I just don't know how to feel about that. Like, ouch, man. Like, what?
What, dude? I'm saying you're smarter than me, which is probably true. You guys
That's
are like...
not what he takes.
But you also
umbrage
definitively said I was dumber than Jayne.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's true, but like, you didn't have to point it out.
I'm refraining from comment.
Yeah.
Both for the
Which
sake
is the
of
smart
my own
move.
ego and...
Which is a smart move. You know, my mother told me at a young age, a closed mouth gathers no foot.
It's true.
It's advice that I really need to take more often. But speaking of which, before we get started on today's episode, I wanted to get you guys' feedback because I had an interesting day yesterday. And in regards to decorum and etiquette, which you guys have more experience with than I do, seeing as how you know I learned from Xhafer on this podcast that the appropriate way to talk to a band that you're a fan of is to send the waiter over and buy them drinks or some shit like that. I had no fucking idea how that works.
It's little fork to biggest fork. Continue.
Outside in, then top down.
Assuming that they're arranged properly.
Speaking of forks, yesterday, my partner, Corrine, she took me to her friend's birthday party, which was up in North Austin. I went to a Brazilian steakhouse. And
Nice.
Have you guys ever been to a traditional Brazilian steakhouse before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been to a steakhouse. I don't know that I've been to a Brazilian of them.
I believe we've been to a Brazilian steakhouse, Ben.
I don't think I have.
Yeah?
I
Well,
think
see, it was...
we have. I think we did it on a work thing once.
You would know because they're a unique experience. And Corrine had never been to one before, so I was telling her, I was like, okay, so here's what you need to know. You pay for your entry and you buy your ticket to get into the Brazilian steakhouse, and it's an all-you-can-eat thing. And they typically have a really amazing salad bar. Like they have a massive salad bar that's got fresh pastas, deviled eggs,
Sushi,
all kinds of
sometimes.
cheeses, soup. This one had lobster bisque. Oh, dude, it had shrimps. But see, here's the thing. It's a trap. It's a trap. You need to stay away from that salad bar because as amazing as it is, the highlight of the experience is the wait staff is constantly bringing around these plates of steaks and ribeyes and sausages and all sorts of just amazing meat fresh off the grill. And they just bring it to your plate and they ask, would you like some medium rare? And they slice it off and it falls onto your plate. It is so good. You see, they want you to fill up on the filler at the salad bar, you know, but no, the meat is where it's at. Well, so we get there. We get to this place, and her friend whose birthday it is had made reservations for everyone. And we show up like a couple minutes late. It was supposed to start at 1:30. I think we got there at like 1:35. I'm like, okay, no, that's perfect. We get there. We are the first ones there. This guy's running late to his own birthday party. So like, okay, whatever. We just hang out at the bar. They have some really good tequila at the bar.
Yeah.
I tried a Fortaleza, which I'd never had before. It's $40 a shot. Had a couple of beers. The guy finally shows up. We get our table. And we're still waiting on two more people. So the waiter comes by, and he says, "Well, would you like you guys to get started?" And he said, "No. We're just talking. We'll wait for the other two." I had told Corrine, and I did the same. Don't have a big breakfast because you're going to want an empty stomach for this. At this point, all I am running on is a banana, a glass of water, and a shot of tequila. All right. And this motherfucker has the audacity to tell him that we are going to wait for the rest of the party. I'm like, it's a buffet. They'll catch up. But I know, like, in some circles, that's supposed to be you wait for everyone to get there before you start.
You wait for everyone to get there if you're on freaking time.
Yeah.
How late are they? Like,
okay. So, you know, we're sitting there, we're chatting, right? And then his friend asks him, so how far away are they? And he texts, He said, "Oh well, she said she's 20 minutes away. I bet she said that 20 minutes ago." So I'm like, "Oh, my stomach is growling here." And then this guy changed the topic of conversation to politics. And I'm like, "You were talking politics to an angry man over here who's on an empty stomach." And he's talking about like the Trump rally, the anti-Trump rallies going on yesterday. And he's like, "Oh yeah." And then the governor calls up the National Guard and he's just making a powder keg. And I'm like, "Motherfucker, you do not know the powder keg
You
that
made
is
a
sitting
powder
next
keg.
to you right now." So,
Okay.
yeah. But then
Okay.
they finally show up. But I had made a couple of runs over to the bathroom. I'm like, I need to use the restroom. Yeah, because the salad bar was on the way to the restroom, and I'm just like, this motherfucker making me ruin the experience by getting stuff from the salad bar. So I did even more bad etiquette of getting a plate, getting stuff from the salad bar, and eating it right there at the bar instead of going back to sit down because I didn't want to be rude. And I just left the plate on discarded it at some unused table.
But the important thing to ask, Victor, did you have the mutton?
I didn't like it. It was yeah, it tasted kind of like
Betrayal.
like
Betrayal, yeah.
betrayal. Yeah, it tasted like what's the word I'm looking for? Is that uh it's liver or gizzards or some
familiar.
kidney? I don't know. It's some part. It's some organ. I'm pretty sure it's kidneys. That's what it tasted like, beef kidney to me, and betrayal. Yes. So, but I did do something that I figured was acceptable in the world of etiquette. Was on my second trip, because we're still waiting for these other people. I hit up the salad bar because they had a literal mountain of bacon. It was candied bacon made into a little mountain. So I just made a little mini mountain on my plate and I brought it back to the table being like, "Hey guys, Dave got a mountain of bacon over there." I just passed it around to everyone.
So this is posed as an etiquette situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you what I feel is acceptable and not acceptable. One, showing up late to your own birthday party. Did they have kids?
No.
Okay.
This was a single dude, no kids.
Unacceptable. Anyone who's showing up to a thing with kids gets a pass on being late because who the fuck knows? I'm not going to ask. But own birthday party, no kids, late, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Strike one. Two. I will say that saying you're going to wait for the party, if the person who is the host or the birthday person in this scenario says that, acceptable. Rude, but acceptable. It passes etiquette. It's just mean to your friends.
Yeah.
And I think the proper response there is all like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, we'll wait for entrees, but I'm going to go hit up the salad bar.
Yeah.
Is 100% acceptable to throw back to them at that point.
Yes. You did not need to hide going to the salad bar. So I am in alignment with Jayne. One, being late, unacceptable. Everyone's point, like everyone should have been there on time and the host should have been there 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 9 of us total, so we had one of the big, like, 2 tables pushed together sort of thing.
Yeah. At a buffet, saying, "Oh no, we'll wait," especially if you're just waiting on 2 people, so 7 is waiting on 2.
Yeah.
No. That said, the host does get to set the time frame, but wait for entrees, fine. If you are late to your own party and then holding off on the food, you are within your etiquette rights to hit up the salad bar and being like, "Hey man, sorry, I'm hungry."
Yeah.
You do not need to be coy about it.
100%.
Good.
And
Well,
I
that's
will
good.
say that after an hour, if they're still
Yeah.
not there, it's been an hour after you got there, not an hour after the host got there, an hour after original scheduled time, all bets are off.
Yeah, I looked at my phone. It was supposed to be at 1:30. It was 2:47 until I finally got to have some steak in my mouth.
Yeah.
That is
No, at 2:30,
preposterous.
2:30, you are no longer beholden to the host's wishes. It's been an hour. You did the thing. You showed
Yeah.
up on time. Well, you showed up within 5 minutes, which as a guest is on time, whatever.
Yeah, and this is Austin traffic too, which is obscene no matter what time of day of the week it is. It's fucking stupid. Yeah. One of the things I do not miss about Austin whatsoever. So. Anyway, shout out to my Austinite listeners out there. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Let's take a look at what the evening rush hour is like on I-35, and it's, well, pretty backed up.
But I will say, Victor, you know what would have made this party even better?
What was that?
If you had just bought out the whole restaurant and were eating there alone, like we see at the start of our episode of
Yeah,
Billions.
is it a freaking third time that we've seen this?
Is this the
yes.
same pizza place from the opening? Actually,
It is
no
a
way.
different pizza place.
It's oh, and by the way,
I know that
listeners, we're
the
doing
interior is different, but the cook's the same guy, right?
No, it is a different
no, it's
guy.
a younger guy. It was
Okay.
yeah.
This is actually, and if you could tell by his horrific line delivery, another quasi-famous person.
Is it? Who
Yes.
is it?
So this is Anthony Mangieri. He's the guy who is credited with bringing the Neapolitan-style pizza to New York.
Really?
Yeah. So if you see, they were having, brick-fired
Yeah.
individual pizzas, the Neapolitan style. He is considered the face of that.
God,
of course,
I
it existed
lived
before
off of
him.
those and all
You know,
that, yeah.
somebody was doing it, but he is the guy who made it chic and boutique.
Yeah, Neapolitan style pizzas. I just recently found out there was one of my favorite food influencers, Vincenzo's Plate. He posted a chart that broke down the different types of pizzas and the cooking time, like comparatively to like how long you bake a Chicago style pizza, which is like 45 to 50 minutes, something like that, and compared to New York
Fucking
style.
ever.
Neapolitan style pizza, 3 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why
That's-
that's what you get if you go to a Blaze or a Mod fast casual pizza place.
Yeah.
It is a Neapolitan style.
Right. So we're doing today. We are doing season
4, episode 5.
Episode 5, a proper send off, which
Yeah.
begins with a montage of a cremation and a Neapolitan style pizza being made. It cuts back and forth.
And Victor, who's being cremated?
It's motherfucking
It's David Strathairn.
Yes, this is the second time we've had him on the podcast. He was my favorite space pirate in The Expanse, and he's in the Billions.
Yep.
And he as Blackjack Savage.
And it was funny for me. I was watching this, and I had just 2 days before watched Memphis Belle, the World War II bomber movie.
Love that
where he
one.
plays the colonel at the base, along,
shit.
who's shooting the shit with John Lithgow the whole time. And I'm like, ooh, it's a David Strathairn weekend. He was not in 12 O'Clock High, mostly because that movie was made in 1949. But the other two things I watched this weekend, he was in. Oh.
Nice.
But they are eating pizzas, and it appears we now have a collab going on between
Yeah.
Axe and Chuck.
Not only are Axe and Chuck friendly,
Yeah,
but Axe is seeing somebody else.
Yes.
right.
Yes, this is Rebecca, which is why I'm going to say last time on, in all of the muck and the mire of everybody coming after Bobby, Laura leaves him, and it's just like, stop antagonizing the district attorney. And he's like, but what if I kept doing that? And she'd be like, I'm taking $10 billion and effing off with the kids. And he's like, that is an acceptable price to keep effing with Chuck.
Who's now the
And-
attorney general.
Yeah, so he has now gotten his upgrade. He ran for and won the New York Attorney General's position.
Is that what it is? I was unclear about what Chuck's new job was.
Yeah. So he is now state. He's not federal. But he is now the chief lawyer for the state of New York.
Yeah.
And so it is a upgrade into a smaller system.
Upgrade. That's an interesting name. Is he Dutch?
But he did something bad. And it's not just eating his pizza with a knife and fork.
Yeah, that was a little weird to watch, to be perfectly honest. But not as weird to hear Chuck and Wendy talk about their public BDSM lifestyle now.
Oh yeah, we had a moment with Chuck and Wendy. Who were like, "Are we really going to do this here?"
Yeah. So what I'm going to say is last time on, in our race for New York Attorney General, it was Chuck up against a female opponent, a woman. And they were having a debate. and it was the make or break debate to decide who's going to win. And she's just pounding him about how he cannot stand the idea of a strong, powerful woman telling the state what to do. And Chuck just goes, "What are you talking about?
Contraire.
I let my wife tie me up." And it was the verbal riposte that proved that, yes, Chuck can stand a strong, powerful woman. I married one. But
Here's
also,
the pictures.
also puts everything out on Main Street. And so Chuck won the position, but ticked off his wife.
I'm very surprised that they are still even together after this. I mean, obviously, it's they're going through a rough patch, as they say. But still, I mean, putting your wife's dominatrix lifestyle that you kept in confidence with you, making that public knowledge, because apparently everyone knows now. Because
Well, that's why I
Wendy
think it was
goes-
at a debate.
Yeah. So I think she's taking this rather well. Yeah, something definitely happened.
But we also have this new girlfriend, Rebecca. They go outside to vape.
Yeah, and then Chuck and Axe have a buddy-to-buddy, man-to-man talk there. This is I did not expect this at all. This is quite a turn of events.
Yeah. How'd you get her back on your side? Millions of dollars, a sports car. And she was still kind of mad. And I do appreciate both of these. Like, we've got the New York Attorney General and a hedge fund billionaire who are both just like, yeah, your wife's kind of scary, man. We're both intimidated by her.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope this is not one of those things where the writers decide to just go take the plot in one direction, even though it would be completely out of character for the main characters. Like this reminded me of that new Walking Dead series where Negan and Maggie, that's her name, where the two of them are like buddy now and partnered up. It's like, no, dude, it's like The Walking Dead was like, Negan was supposed to die, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan is such a great actor. We need to figure out a way to keep him in. So I feel like the thing with Chuck and Bobby Axe was about to go nuclear, it felt like, but the writers were just like, yeah, but we've got 3 more seasons of the show we need to write. So what do we do? And they just make them bury the hatchet and be on the same side now. I don't know. I'm looking forward to possibly watching this in its entirety to see how we got here.
I will say, it seemed like we all kind of agreed messaging before this. This was the episode that was like, this is what I wanted from this show.
This was a
Because-
good episode.
Well,
Yeah.
because like every other episode we've watched has ended with, all right, I'm going to effing destroy this guy. And in this episode, we actually watched them destroy people. And I'm like, yes, this is the downside of our system. Like, this is the first time we got to see our payoffs.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving forward here, we got them talking about how Bobby
They have a
wants
plan.
Chuck to go after Taylor now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Taylor hasn't done anything illegal. And Bobby's like, well, it's never stopped you before. I'm like, Bobby, shut the fuck up. You've done tons of illegal shit. So. One more thing before we move on from this scene. Is it just me, or does the set they are into look like the set from The Bear?
Wouldn't know.
A little bit. It's a very white kitchen.
The
Taller
dining room and the
ceilings,
kitchen
it's-
looks
yeah.
very similar to the setup. I just might be.
It is very much of that style of restaurant. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
We then get a brief scene of Chuck Sr. down by the waterfront. Being like, giant building here, giant building here. And there's some guy who's like, yeah, it's going to cost $30 million. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just expedite my stuff.
Yep. Wendy heads back to the office at Axe Capital, where everyone is turning their eyes from her as she walks in because it sounds like they've all seen her naked at this point.
Yeah, it's
Not seen, but now imagined.
The way this is reacting, I don't know, maybe it feels like the level of embarrassment suffered here is more than just knowing what someone gets up to in their free time at work. I do wonder if there might have been some visual aids that she did not approve of making their way into the public, even if not as part of the initial statement from Chuck. Because, I don't know, like, it's definitely devastating to her, but she is acting like someone who has had, like, incapable of keeping any physical secret about herself now.
Yeah, her laundry's definitely been aired out.
Yeah.
I don't know, because one thing that made me think it's the way it is she does bring up, like, oh, people are talking about, like, what whips do I like and what bustier do I wear? And I'm like, if there were pictures, it's like somebody would have, like, gone on a subreddit and been like, this is the man deformer 9000
XL. Yeah, there would have been some pinchy zoomy going on.
Yeah.
Pinchy zoomy. Anyways, after this, we cut over to Taylor, who pukes and then collects themselves, and sends their new balance sheet fixer, Lauren, to get the New York Firefighters Pension Fund as investment capital.
You can't just gloss over the introduction of Lauren here, because it's like, this is pretty... I am in love with Lauren already.
She's investor relations. She is hung over.
Hung the fuck over. They go over and I forgot the name of Taylor's aide, but she says, Lauren, this is your new boss. And she, like, wakes up from off the table and is chugging pickle juice because it's the hangover cure.
We also find out here that they really need this firefighter contract because they lost their biggest investor. So it is make or break time here for Taylor's new financial investment. And so Taylor has their own company. And guys, what happened to her? Xhafer.
What the hell happened here?
Can't explain, but I got the van.
So we get a couple of clues, specifically in the plot with Axe and John. There's a couple of allusions about Taylor kind of going off on their own and breaking away, but also a betrayal. So I have a feeling that when the investigation came around for Axe, Taylor was probably offered a, like, hey, if you know about this stuff, you didn't report any of this stuff. If you talk, then we won't prosecute you. We'll just go after your boss. That happens. Taylor leaves in shame and then starts their own firm as also Axe negotiates his way to clearly not being in prison right now.
Yeah, because we do know Axe was definitely arrested at some point. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been charged with anything because
He seems fine now. He's back at Axe Cap.
And this episode aired back when felons actually got punished for their white-collar crimes.
When I did my stretch, I decided some bitch needed to get got.
That was always kind of squishy.
Yeah. So what year was this? Well, anyway.
But now, on his way to his new job as Attorney General, Chuck is surprise cockbagged by Brian.
He jump scares him good.
He jumps out from behind a pillar, and, like, this does feel like Brian, like, I will wait here as long as I need to until I hear huffing at about 5'2", and that's when I know Chuck is coming.
Brian's been there for like 2 hours, waiting for this moment.
And he's just like, hey, man, excited to work with you because we're going to be collaborating a lot. And Chuck is like, no, we're not. Go fuck yourself. And then he goes into the office where his directive of, hey, let's not have everybody cheer and clap for me, which was absolutely like when your girlfriend tells you, like, hey, don't do anything for my birthday.
And you don't do anything for
her birthday. He walks in and, like, nobody's clapping, and he gets some polite smiles. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But he finds out that the New York Attorney General, basically all of their operating rules are unwritten rules, and the governor just wrote them. They can't even file subpoenas.
Yep.
Yeah. And also this, up until this point, Brian and Chuck seem to have been, they started out as loyal partners in the first episode, like they had a real friendship, then they became frenemies, and now I feel like they are definitely openly, what's the
Antagonistic.
Yeah, towards
Yes,
each other now. So
100%.
yeah, not even pretending anymore.
We also get a little bit interspersed here with one of the scholarship kids. We saw in the pilot.
Yep, John Rice.
Was he really in the pilot?
I don't know if he was in the pilot because that would require me to check on IMDb to how many episodes someone was in, and that's against
Cheating.
the rules of this
Right.
podcast. But he is, if he is not in that, he is one of those
Right,
types
one of the kids, one of the scholarship.
kids whose dad died in 9/11.
Yeah,
that
and
was working at whatever
and
AXCAP was at that time.
And I, unfortunately, sorry, I have to admit, I did cheat and check IMDb because I knew I've seen this actor from somewhere. I did not check anything as far as Billions goes, but I had to know what I knew him from, and he was from Fringe. He played one of the later season characters. I fucking love Fringe. He was one of the
meant to
alternate
watch that
universe
show.
cops. So it was
Okay.
great series.
Well,
Anyway.
spoilers for Fringe.
Yeah. Anyways, he hands Axe a check for $112 million to cash him out of his business. He says he's above his weight class, needs to be more nimble. Asks Axe ways to follow up. He's like, man, I kind of fucked this up. We get some more in the next scene where Wags is like, hey, you're the only one who got cashed out. And
This is
He's,
messing with Axe.
yeah, it's messing with Axe for
Which
sure.
I did not understand at all. He's like, he wants to return the money that was granted to him for a scholarship.
Well, no, so this is the seed funding he put into. So he gifted him his business school and then invested in this kid's hedge fund.
Oh, so he helped him out twice then?
Yeah.
Because originally he was one of the kids whose father died on 9/11. And Bobby set up a scholarship fund for him, and now I thought he was just paying back the scholarship money.
No,
with
he
interest.
does. He does list it off like, here's business school, and then your initial investment at
Oh.
a 7% return. That comes to this $100 million. So here you go. Your cash, like I'm paying you back.
That's weird.
And-
I would not have see this. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm socially stupid, but I would not have read into this the way Bobby does. Like what? I was like, oh, well, thanks, man. It's nice to someone pay you back once in a while. So,
Yeah. But for Bobby, this is just like he does like go down to Wendy and he's just like, why am I so mad about this? Like, I'm normally happy getting $100 million. And she's like, you're having an emotional response because you feel like this kid is like spitting the gift back in your face.
like Furiosa did in Mad Max, and I did not realize that movie was this old already.
Yeah. And then Bobby leaves while Wendy sits down to Google herself on Liz Lemon's computer.
Tracy, you do know that Googling yourself means looking yourself up on the internet.
I did not know that. That explains why Liz Lemon was so cool the other day.
So Chuck goes to meet with the governor, finds out he's been stripped of all his power somehow,
Yeah,
even though
he's
he's on
fucked.
the first week on his job.
Yep. Well, because he pissed off the wrong people by winning.
Yeah.
And then we see
Hey, Kevin
it's
Pollak.
Kevin Pollak.
I
that
was
Taylor's
so
dad?
excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a real that guy.
He is fantastic. I love Kevin Pollak.
So Kevin Pollak is like working on a like consumer product of some variety in this office that requires manufacturing. And we hear about it later when Taylor does the pitch. Is Kevin Pollak Taylor's dad?
I think so.
That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got.
Because I wrote that down. It's like Taylor, in my notes, says Taylor meets with some guy who I think is their dad, question mark. Also,
Man.
apparently an aerospace engineer.
And now I just really want to watch A Few Good Men.
X
Kevin
takes
Pollak
John
was in
fishing,
Oh.
trying to make good on being more of a father figure instead of being a font of money.
there. Yep.
At least that's the setup.
Then, speaking of fathers, in the next scene, Chuck runs into Chuck Sr. at the pharmacy while he's picking up his Viagra.
Yeah. Which we find out I was wrong. Mom is still alive, just not part of the show. And he also reveals, like, yes, I'm picking up Viagra, and your mom and I haven't had sex in decades. It's like, okay, Dad, now I know a lot of shit.
I was so much happier never hearing this.
I was so much happier 30 seconds ago. And Chuck Sr.'s like, yes, but now I need to have a rant about how New York used to be better. And it's like, yeah, but my life used to be better.
Yes. Like, I fuck my mistresses. You need to fuck New York with your power dick,
God, yeah.
son.
Yes.
It's like no one should ever have to hear the details of their dad's dick pills. So, anyway, okay. So Chuck Sr.
Happy
is talking
Father's Day.
about, Happy Father's Day.
Hey, everyone, it's me, Ben, your internet dad. Don't talk about your dick pills with your kids. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's the best
The
advice
more
you've
you don't
given
talk
yet.
about your dick pills.
It's the best advice you've given yet. All right. Okay, so I don't understand this next part. Chuck Sr. is talking about how so many people, important people in history, have come through here, and he starts pointing like right over there.
Yeah.
This
bar
pharmacy
or
used to
something.
be a bar.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Because I'm just like, is this the most famous Walgreens in New York?
Blackjack used to get his blood pressure checked at that machine right there.
Yeah, John F. Kennedy picked up his Viagra at this very stall. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Madeleine Albright used to get her blood thinners at this counter.
Oh, man. So then I think, is this where Wags is in his office wearing...
With his face mask.
Now, this is weird, I got to say, because I have never seen one of these before up until a couple weeks ago when some funny viral TikTok videos popped up on my Facebook feed, and it was just women wearing these masks before they go to bed.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we watched this episode that has one in it, and this aired in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. This is some glitch in the Matrix type shit. Do you
It's
guys
just
ever
one-
have that?
It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it must be, good. It's Japanese. And it's just like, that's not how skin works.
Yeah, I am dubious as fuck of these things. They're expensive as hell, and basically all they do is shine red light on your face.
Yep. They don't work. It's expensive in Japanese, ergo, it must be good.
Must be
Weird.
good.
Well, anyway, Wendy is trying to break into a former employee's Facebook profile.
And he talks about a bunch of actresses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
regular ass actresses.
I didn't recognize any of these names.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You know you're...
I legitimately didn't, Victor.
They're porn star names.
I was
am
able to pick that up from context clues.
Yeah.
Starting with Fleshlight did imply some
Yeah.
things.
Okay, look, I only recognize Lisa Ann and Corey Chase. So the other two, I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, because the last one was the one that Ted Cruz tweeted.
Oh, is it?
Oh, I missed that.
There was the time when Ted Cruz, his Twitter tweeted porn while he was in the Senate, and they blamed it on one of his interns.
It was the hackers.
Yeah, it was like, no, it was one of our interns. He forgot to switch accounts. It definitely wasn't me, Ted Cruz, which is totally my name.
Immediately
No, you
clearing
weren't.
his browser history.
Yeah.
Fucking Father of the Year, Ted Cruz. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day. I'm off to Cancun.
Oh,
the
God, don't
student's
remind me of that
password,
trip.
this former employee's password is just the porn star name. No uppercase letters, no lowercase letters, no symbols. Well,
It's
Bad
not even
password
with an at
security,
instead of an A.
yeah. Jesus,
It's like,
dude.
it depends. So, probably bad password security. It actually depends on the spelling of the name. If it's using common name spelling, it is bad. But if any of the names are spelled with like an I instead of a Y or anything that would make them difficult for a dictionary type password cracking algorithm to discover, then they're actually probably good passwords. They need maybe another word or two in there, but
I've been
honestly,
using
a lot better than password 1234.
yeah. No, I've
My
been using
dad
the
thought
same
he
very-
was so clever when he was like, the password for our home computer is password.
Oh God. Now, I've been using the same variation of the same password for the past 12 years. And I don't mind saying
That's
this
way too
because...
long.
No, I don't mind saying this at all because it was at an old job I had where we were required to change our passwords regularly. And I would always change it back to the one it was before because I used it so many times. It's just muscle memory. And yeah, it's a ton of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and random symbols that no one will ever fucking piece together. But I just... Like, I couldn't even tell you what it is. I just put my hand on the keyboard and it's muscle memory. So,
Yeah. See, mine used to be. It's changed now, so I don't feel bad about it. The rules I would tell my son on our way to daycare, which was, we be nice, we don't hit, and we listen to our teachers. I would rotate through the 3 of those. Just because I said them every day before I dropped him off at daycare. And so they were always, like, in my head. Although it did get funny because Henry would add to them, like, we also don't jump the fence. And I'm like, that's not a worry I have, buddy. You're 2.5 feet tall.
hey, if you can jump the fence, then...
Like,
dude,
more power to you, buddy, but, like, I know you. We come from chunky stock. We are not fence jumpers.
What's the matter, Danny? You never taken a shortcut before?
If he's 2.5 feet tall, man, and he can jump a fence, kid's got a future. So just keep an eye on that. Okay, then we get
Fishing's
another
very
steakhouse.
the fishing is very foreboding.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I was for sure that Bobby was going to freaking do him Godfather style and just dump him off in the, like, shoot him in the head and dump his body in the ocean. Yeah,
He bodies
His mom's
him,
not
just
dead
that
yet.
way.
because he freaking made a point of telling him to leave his phone there at the pier before they get on the boat. I'm just like, dude, that's a stupid idea. Don't do it. He's like, there's no service out there anyway. I'm like, still though.
We then find out Taylor, well, everybody else gets a 30-minute pitch with the firefighters. Taylor gets 10.
Mhm.
And
Because the firefighters
got screwed over by Axe.
They hate Bobby, which is interesting because at the beginning of the series, he was like a hero in the aftermath of 9/11. Now the 9/11 survivors kind of hate him. And I think I figured out what it is because it's already been brought up at least twice now in the episodes we've seen that there were some revelations after 9/11 regarding Bobby. And it seemed a little too far-fetched that Bobby was, I don't know, in bed with Al-Qaeda or some shit. Because, okay, dude, that's Guantanamo time if that's the case. I think what happened was because 9/11 happened on a Tuesday, wasn't it? Or was it a Monday? I think, at first I thought it was a Monday.
It was during the week, I know, because I was homesick from school.
I think it was a Monday. Because here's what I'm thinking happened. You know how it's common corporate practice to fire someone on a Friday or deliver bad news on a Friday? Because there's less chance of an incident.
It was a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just say in the parallel universe of billions, it was on a Monday.
Okay.
Here's what happened. Bobby was fired for doing illegal shit like he does. And it just so happened that he was the only one out of the office. I think it's because he was fired. And
But then everybody died, and so he pretended like he wasn't.
Right. Exactly. And then this college fund that he set up for the children of the employees who died.
The Wu-Tang Fund.
The Wu-Tang Fund?
Yeah,
It's for the children.
But when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children.
Oh, right. The Wu-Tang Fund. He put all the money that the firm had into the Wu-Tang Fund as a security thing. So that way, if anyone ever found out that he was no longer an employee there, they couldn't come after the money because it was put away in this charitable fund. So then somehow someone leaked that the only reason Bobby was out of the office is he was fired. And then since the rest of the big shots were dead, he decided to come back and scoop it all back up and appoint himself the CEO. I think that's what happened. And that's why everyone's pissed off at him, because that makes just enough sense for people to be outraged without him facing jail.
That's great. That is a great last time on, Victor.
Thank you.
Well done.
And it means that is not the reason why Laura left him, because he didn't know about the attack. He just benefited from it.
Yes. I'll bet you that's what happened.
Because the revelation, I know, has happened before Laura left him. Because she was still all like, hey, I love you even though my brother died, and let's screw over this small town. We then get Spiros showing up at work and being like, hey, where is everybody? And they're like, in a meeting. He's like, but why wasn't I told? And it's like, well, I guess you don't be needed in the meeting. And he's like, but I'm Spiros.
Yeah. Then Taylor makes an impression at the. Oh wait, no, I skipped ahead here. So yeah, Bobby and John is the kid's name.
Scolari. Scolari is the guy he's drinking with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pasty white kid who.
Yeah. Not kid, but the New
well, I mean,
York
he's an adult.
State,
the New York
sir,
State
or
Senator.
Oh no,
representative.
I'm talking about Bobby and his fishing buddy.
Oh no, that's Rice. John Rice.
John Rice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're out catching fish, and during this pseudo father son bonding time, Bobby drops a fucking Dune reference. He says, "Fear is the mind killer."
Yes, it is.
Like, damn it, dude! I made the prediction for a Star Trek. We've had Star Wars. We've had Dune. Come on, man, give me a Star Trek reference.
They're flirting. We
Glow
got 3 more
almost
seasons.
had us buy the Lego Ornithopter today while we were at Barnes and Noble. Oh, put that on a shelf so bad.
I got Lego Jaws right behind me, right there.
Instead,
you
I got
guys
my
got-
copy of the 5 Rings.
That's solid.
Like from Lord of the Rings.
No, it's the book I was.
The Legend of the yeah
No, it's a Japanese.
history. Is it
yeah.
history or is it a dramatization?
No, it is the book
Well,
Musashi.
no, I know the thing actually happened. I'm asking if the book is a dramatization of historical events. or
No,
if
it
it's
is
like a
the book
history
written by Musashi.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Is that okay? I'm sorry, uneducated douchebag here, Victor. Is that have to do with the Dynasty Warriors era?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Smirk.
This would be Shogun Warriors because Dynasty Warriors is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms period
That's
in China.
it. Romance
Yeah,
of the Three
Shogun
Kingdoms.
Warriors.
That's what I was
it.
thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I only played Gundam Warriors, so
Nerd.
It's a Gundam.
yeah. Anyways,
So then Chuck is at the. Is this the same steakhouse as well? 'Cause
No,
he's
this
at
is just
another
a bar
steakhouse.
in Albany.
I saw a steakhouse out on the sign.
But this is in Albany, so it's not in
Albany.
New York City.
Okay.
And a state senator is just like, we drink to a legend. There's no more like him. And he's like, yeah, but now you're not beholden to this guy. And also, here's a page about all the dirt I have on you. So how about you unscrew me? He's like, all right, okay, we've now got our dirty deal.
Then see, Taylor makes their impression at the firefighters investor meeting, saying that Taylor hates Bobby Axe just as much, if not more, than they do. So, then we go to. Did I miss anything here? Oh yeah, no. I
We
Yeah,
do get
a
one
bunch
bit
of stuff.
where so a drunk John Rice is just like, you know what, screw, getting mad, and the boat will not start to take them back. And so John is getting drunk and like more and more mad with Axe, and he's Axe like radios back in and is just like, hey, come pick us up. Hey man, sorry, we can't. I'll give you $10,000. Sorry, it's emergencies. It's like, I'll give you $100,000. We'll be there soon.
Yeah.
Also, his boat is called the
Vindicator.
the Vanquisher.
The Vanquisher, yes.
yikes.
Nerd. Yeah.
Also,
and I am actually
Kate
Good.
Sacker, who is still working with Brian,
interesting.
knows that Chuck Sr. got his permits fast tracked.
So then we bounce over to
The funeral.
We're at the funeral. Yes, now we're at Black Jack Foley.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Mulligan.
Black Jack
Not
Foley's
Mulligan. Blackjack Mulligan, different Blackjack.
where Chuck makes his move with the governor.
Yes.
Brings some what a warrant? Not a warrant. It's a
He brings
executive.
two orders, and
Yeah.
he says, hey, I've got the votes in the assembly. Either you can give me my powers back, or they can.
Yeah.
And if they give me my powers back, we're enemies. If you give me my powers back, I've also got this court order arresting all of these jerk-offs on all of the stuff they just admitted to. And the governor's like, well, all right, I'll be the guy who cleaned up Albany. Shoot, man.
Yeah.
And then Chuck steals the Ugoogly.
Thought you were going to tell me what a bad Googleizer I am.
A what?
A Googleizer? One who speaks at funerals?
And is just like, hey, everybody, Blackjack was a great man, a wonderful man. I am now Black Chuck.
He gives us Caesar. He mentions Caesar at his assassination,
or at his funeral, and he gives his full friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, which that's Shakespeare, not the actual funeral, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
And does his best, Mark Antony, and the governor is sitting there like Brutus, like, oh man. And they come in and arrest like 24 state representatives and senators. And Chuck walks out like big man on campus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just love that these cops and FBI agents or whatever, they must have been just waiting outside the door of this funeral. This was whole squads of them just waiting for the right moment. And Chuck was all just like, okay, now when I say the bit about Caesar, you just bust in and start arresting people. It needs to add this dramatic entry.
And one of the cops is like, so when he says Caesars, does he mean chicken Caesars or a salmon Caesars? Because I know somebody, a nice dame, she just had a salmon Caesar salad. That's Beth. We had lunch with Beth yesterday, and she had a salmon Caesar salad.
Yeah. No, when my mother was pregnant, they were all just like, oh yeah, this baby's got to come out. Do you want a cesarean? And she's like, nah, I'm allergic to eggs.
That's why it's called a cesarean section. Because Caesar was born by cesarean.
Yeah, I know.
Section.
I was making a joke about the Caesar salad, Ben, which apparently it has nothing to do with Caesar. I just learned
also,
recently.
as far as I know, there's no eggs in a Caesar salad.
Yeah, there are. Those to make the dressing.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's eggs in a Caesar salad.
I didn't know that. Because I was just
eggs.
like, that's a Cobb salad.
The hero of Canton, a man they call Jayne.
It's also not vegetarian.
Oh, man.
It has anchovies in it.
Yeah. But Chuck, as this is going on, as he's delivering his speech, he says we need something about giving Blackjack Foley a proper send-off. And I'm just, DiCaprio, he said the thing. Anyway, Bobby reveals his master plan to John Rice.
That while we were on the boat, we fucked you. We fucked you hard.
So much fucking.
This was a genuine heist movie moment where he just shows everything that was going on behind the scenes, and Ari was on the radio being Coast Guard or whatever.
I did appreciate the flashback when like all of the people in the war room are like putting the pressure on the all of Rice's investors, including who's back? Danzig.
Danzig is back. Yes, I noticed that.
Danzig is back, but I appreciated when they called Spiros in. He's like, ooh, I get to be part of a crime? Yay! I've been here long enough that this is exciting. But also,
had a lot of fun with it.
This is one of those things where it's like, yes, wonderful for a TV show. But it's like they keep calling all of Rice's investors and being like, hey, here's all the stuff going on. It's like, and not a single person called back to Rice's investment company. You're like, hey, Axe kept talking bullshit.
They did.
Well, they did.
Axe stashed his phone.
They
left
but they
their
didn't,
phones.
Yeah, so they couldn't call Rice. They couldn't call anyone else at his company.
Well, they did. His phone. If you look at the messages on his phone as it blows up, it's his coworkers trying to get a hold of him about all the shit.
See, now that's on Rice then. If he didn't delegate his decision-making authority to anyone else in the office,
it's
he
just
set himself up for
it is the sort of thing where it's like, hey, man, if I'm invested at Victor Corp, And then X Corp calls and it's just like, hey, did you know that Victor's totally on meth? I'd be
it's
like,
just Prime.
what? Clearly you're getting something out of this, X Corp. I'm gonna call, somebody over at Victor Corp. Hey, I can't get Vic. I'm gonna call, Corinne, and she'll be like, no, what are you talking about? Victor's on a boat right now. He's not doing crimes, and I'm not leaving him. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's
maybe
like there's
X
no one
Corp
else.
is lying.
Yeah, there's no one else in the
Probably
office
not.
that he trusts to handle things while he takes like.
To be fair, I always assume X Corp is lying.
That's,
I don't know. X Corp
yeah.
seems like a perfectly legitimate organization that I would definitely trust with my money.
Okay, is this a Twitter joke?
No, this is a Jayne joke.
Do you have an X Corp?
This is just.
Is that an X-Men?
I
thing?
did have an X Corp, but
I'll
we're
bet you
not
there's an
together
X
anymore.
Anyways,
X Factor.
Wendy.
That's the other one.
we find Wendy in her Facebook stalking of everyone over at Mason Capital, which is Taylor's company.
Yeah.
Was talking shit because they all came over with Taylor. Finds out that Taylor actually shut them down from talking shit on the social medias.
That
and
so
also
seems like
called
Taylor.
Wendy.
Yes.
Taylor seems like the Facebook admin who would be all just like, guys, calm down. No personal attacks. In the war room party back at Axe headquarters, let's see, they're passing around another bottle of Mitchers.
I feel like they're sponsored by Mitchers.
Yeah.
They have to be at this point.
Mhm. Yeah, this is the third episode in a row that we've seen.
I mean, it's good bourbon. But
I mean, if it wasn't worth double the amount of the mortgage payment I have, I would try one.
There are economic bottles of it.
Yeah, there's like $20-$25 bottles of mixtures.
Yeah. No, I was super surprised yesterday when I was at the bar and I finally got to try a Fortaleza, which is like the big dog of tequilas, and I'm kind of a tequila snob, and it was the first time trying it. It was good, but I don't think it's $200 a bottle good. So,
and that's the thing, like
$40 a shot, for Christ's
there is
sake.
diminishing returns. Like I find once you get to the $60 to $80 bottle, you're not getting much better than that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alcoholics in the Discord, listen to Ben's advice.
Hey, friends, it's Ben. You're internet drunk. And
No, we don't. We don't need to do this.
If you
as a
mix
bit.
everything with Coke, it's fine. It's fine.
No. Anyways, Wendy calls Taylor to talk. Chuck meets with his dad as the FBI and Kate watch on.
Okay,
That's
most
our episode.
obvious
Chuck
FBI
Sr. is
surveillance
supposed
plan.
to be smart, and him being like, I got my permits back clean and fast. And I'm like, this is New York City. There is nothing more conspicuous than getting your permits back clean and quick.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Chuck Sr., I'm like, oh no, I'm screwed. Like, somebody's on to me.
Yeah, there's nothing clean in New York except the water, which surprised the hell out of me. Had a discussion about this recently, and
Water's pretty good. Detroit water, also great.
That boggles my mind. That does not compute at all.
How? We have literally one of the largest reservoirs of fresh water in the world.
That is why I'm so happy to be in Michigan right now. When the rest of you die, like, no hurricanes, no earthquakes, we got all the water, like...
We're 771 feet above sea level, so if the ice caps melt, we're good for a long-ass time.
Yeah. Unless, like,
would have guessed.
ice caps melt, we're fine. Like, we get another ice age, okay, we did get completely covered in ice that one time.
Oh, yeah, another ice age would totally fuck us because of all the water.
But that's the
Yes.
one thing.
All right, well, ice age happens. Come to Texas. I'll let you guys stay in my backyard. We'll be fine.
We'll talk to Corinne.
That is the episode.
That's the episode.
Right.
Did either of you guys see a bag of money anywhere in this entire episode?
No.
Damn it. I lost a point on that one. Oh, well.
Okay.
But we do now get to do our predictions, and this
Oh,
time...
first we got to roll the bones.
Oh, okay.
Roll them bones first.
Roll the bones!
Because we get to know the description of the next episode before we make our
I always write
predictions.
mine down first.
Well, that's the thing is, I do too, but I also write down the episode descriptions first because I roll after I finish taking my notes, and this is all a show.
It's a really big show.
That's an 11. which is another perfect season skip. That's 2 11s in a row, the 12-episode seasons. So we
nice.
are going to season 5, episode 5, which is Contract.
Ooh.
Axe must reckon with his past to secure his future. Chuck plots against Axe with the help of some old associates.
All right.
Chuck and Wendy both try to move on, but get forced together by an emergency. Wendy and Taylor embark on a new venture.
Oh, dang! Damn it. I was almost going to make a prediction based on Wendy and Taylor, but wow. Speaking of predictions, it's everyone's favorite time of the show.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
All right, now I'll go first this time because I always go last. So I'm going to go daytime. We never see Rice again.
God damn it.
That's a good prediction.
It's good, but
I feel like it's 50-50 he ends up working for Taylor.
He might end up working for Taylor.
At We Hate Axe Cap Corp, where they formed the anti-Axe. We're also giant pieces of shit, but we're not him. Like Taylor pretending to be the good guy when they last episode or 2 episodes ago were just like, how about we screw over a small town? Oh, Taylor, you're awful. Evening, Chuck Sr. goes to jail. And I'm going to say bonus point for if Chuck goes to flip on him and Senior admits to everything so that Junior does not go on the record flipping on him.
Oh, man, I have almost the same prediction, but definitely different.
Okay.
Let's hear your prime time, and then I'll do mine.
And my prime time is we get 2 more actual New York business owners.
Okay.
We got the pizza shop
one.
owner.
Yeah.
We got the owner of the Giants. I think in the about 3 episodes we've got left, 2 more actual business owners.
Oh, that's a bold prediction.
That's why I went prime time, because we could be done with this show in 3 more episodes.
Yeah, if you roll high, then yeah. All right, Xhafer, what do you got?
Daytime. Chuck's dad is going to jail.
Yeah.
I made that prediction, I think, on the first episode.
I mean, yeah.
But hey, we all get points if Chuck goes
Evening.
to jail.
Victor, we all get points in the dark.
Now, my evening prediction is where we see it had been, because Chuck's dad is going to sell out his son to get out of jail time.
Ooh,
it's going to work the
happening.
other
That'd be
way
great.
around. And then my primetime prediction in the finale, both Chuck and Axe are going to be either we start the episode with them incarcerated, or they are both incarcerated by the end of the episode.
Both of them?
Bonus point if they either are cellmates or next door to each other, depending on the configuration of the cells. They end up in jail.
That is a fun last
together.
shot of like,
that would be
we're
great.
pulling out dolly shot and they're both behind bars, just like
yeah, either they're cellmates next to each other, they're nearby. The point is, it's a fun shot.
That would be great.
Or like
it
pivots and
jail,
spins and they're across the cell block from each other.
Yeah, like they're forced to stare at each other. That'd be perfect too. Yeah.
Only way it would be even better if they both die on a bar stool and we get their spirit lifting off. Just drinking their way to the afterlife with Mitchers. Which, speaking of which, my daytime
Wags is going to die.
Yeah. My daytime prediction is we get another bottle of Mitchers.
I feel like that's not enough for a point.
Hey, if you guys can say we never see a fucking guest star again, I can say we get another bottle of Mitchers.
As long as it's a celebration. Be the
clear shot of the label. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to say it has to be the brown label.
Brown label?
Because today we got green label.
Was it green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they were drinking the green label.
All right, we get another bottle of brown Mitchers. Making the note right now. Okay. Now, why did my autocorrect change it to O'Brien?
Mitchers, the expensive one.
Brown
comes
Mitchers.
in the red box.
My autocorrect is changing brown to O'Brien. God. Okay. Anyway, evening prediction. We get the title of the episode dropped again.
All right.
Okay.
And primetime, this is the one I was going to make last episode. Taylor and Dollar Bill Bang.
Oh, that's a hate bang.
Oh, man. Well, that's our show, everyone. If I could just take a moment to pimp something before we do our outro.
Yeah.
If you guys don't mind. To our listeners out there who enjoyed our coverage of The Expanse 2 or 3 seasons ago, over on YouTube, my buddy Tiger Mike is hosting a new podcast called The Blue Goo Review, where him and I review The Expanse every single episode, not just the ones we roll dice on.
Betrayal.
The Tiger Funk Productions. I searched Tiger Mike Expanse on YouTube and got it.
There it is. The Blue Goo Review. First episode is up. It's a little rough. We're still figuring out our editing and our format. But hey, if you're a big Expanse nerd out there like me, I think you'll enjoy our coverage of it. So yeah, check it out.
Cool.
Thank you.
Fun.
I can't help but notice that when I search DMT Expanse, I get a lot of stuff about drugs.
Yeah, that's a side effect of my choice of punny names. So, at first when I changed it, I thought it was DNT. It was Dominion Network Television originally. And then I had to wait like 90 days to change it again on Facebook. So it was like, no, dude, it's the wrong. No, it's DMT is the drug. So anyway. Speaking of drugs, let's give our thank you to Ripe, who are drug-free, I think. I don't know. Probably. They seem like great guys.
They're super cool. And they just dropped a new music video.
They did. Go watch it.
What's the name of the music video?
It's, Try Not to Look.
Try Not to Look.
Try Not to Look.
Which is which was super fun because it's a song about it is the Ripe birthday song that we saw in Grand Rapids on my wife's birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. And thank you to you, the listener. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review. It'll really help out the show.
It really would.
Yeah. And if you don't like our podcast, just keep that shit to yourself.
And we'll see you next time on Last Time On.
Gonna show you how.